Snowglobe. Yeah, this one is it's a simple concept, but it's very personal because I wrote it at a time where I was having trouble controlling the stimulation, the external issues that were impacting my mental and emotional well-being. The news, just a constant cycle of things impacting Black people, whether it be violence from police or regular, like non-uniformed white folks or other people demonstrating anti-Blackness, whether it be mentees having issues and they need support, and I'm like, I can't support you because I barely have the emotional capacity to support myself. Familial issues, just you name it. And it's not, in the grand scheme of things, it's not a lot, but there's just those certain times in all of our lives where it's harder to navigate some of the, what is generally like basic things. And so for me, Snowglobe is just wanting that isolation, wanting to be away from everything. And I feel like even when I try to put up boundaries, sometimes they're not always respected. This song is very much about self-awareness to your mental and emotional needs. I think that I've seen a small increase into the recognition of mental health being as important as your physical health is, and I'm seeing the taboo starting to kind of slowly get pushed away and people embracing the importance of taking care of their mental health. For me, that conversation started years ago when I got into youth development, and I worked for an organization that served under-resourced young people. And one of the services, they provided wraparound services, pretty much everything you can think of, legal help, if you're in school, if you didn't finish high school and you're trying to get your GED, job readiness programs, extracurricular activities, dinner, medical help, you name it, they provided it to young people between the ages of 14 and 24. And I was fortunate enough to work for this organization for a couple of years. And one of the things they provided was mental health services. And so a lot of the young people that I interacted with, many of which became mentees and youngest siblings, like youngest siblings to me, they were Black and brown in most cases. And a lot of them were still stuck in the taboo of, I don't want to go see a therapist. I don't want people to falsely assume that I'm crazy, so on and so forth. But I like talking to you, and as honored as I am, what I would have to tell them, like, I always created this space, or as much as possible, I tried to create the space and the time to hear them. But when you have a lot of young people who are trusting in you, that can be overwhelming. And then what I would always tell them is that I'm also not professionally trained to help you navigate these things, these issues you're going through, or to give you the resources. I can only get you to so far before you need to go speak to a professional about this. And so what I wound up doing in a means of leading by example was seeking a therapist for myself. I wasn't really experiencing any one particular thing or any combination of things that was so overwhelming that I didn't feel like I could handle on my own. But I figured being Black in this country is enough to speak to a professional about processing that shit. And then, so I found a therapist, and I was able to unpack a lot of different things that I was experiencing mentally and emotionally. And what that allowed me to do was revisit a lot of these conversations and not force it upon anybody or forcibly suggest, but ultimately just like tell my young people and my peers, co-workers, friends outside of work, just let folks know. I would drop it in conversation very casually. Like, yeah, I was speaking to my therapist about the issues with my father, about like the fear that I have with being black, and when I see police, I don't feel safe. I feel afraid that they're gonna like try to pin some shit on me that I didn't do. And all these different things that I got to unpack in therapy, I was able to kind of casually bring it up in conversations with my mentees to kind of shrink the taboo and let them know, like, you fuck with me, you trust me, I don't believe you think I'm crazy. And so if you think normal me, or if you see that normal me is doing this, maybe it'll, leading by example essentially, instead of saying you should go, and then I can't even tell you what to experience when you're going through that, when you're attempting to take that walk. It's a very vulnerable place to be in, and I acknowledge that. And for anybody who's watching this, I know I have some friends who don't believe in therapy. That's okay. I hope that you have what you need to get through whatever challenges you go through. But I am a huge proponent of, whether it's therapy or not, I'm a huge proponent of finding avenues to channel your mental and emotional well-being and to manage it, and not wait till it becomes an emergency where you start looking for it. Because I can tell you this, therapy is likely not going to work if you wait until an emergency to seek it, because you'll be looking for a quick fix, and that's just not how it works. It's a long game. It's very much a long game. So